Es la voz de LA. It's like una galaxiana, come and kick it with us. I bring the bossa nova beats and talk the club that we love. Another year to adjust, and Will Kuntz we all trust. 6 titles in the cabin, tell the haters shut up. Mirar al horizonte con el cielo morado. Llegamos al estadio como siempre lo hago. Es la nueva temporada, ya cumplí 30 años. Rezándole a San Pequi que no dé al travesaño. Que repartan los balones y no sean tacaños. Que regrese el contraataque y que le hagamos daño. Un saludo para Robert, hermanos ecuatorianos. Que la táctica de Ananda nunca sean en vano. Si se trata de mi gala me levanto temprano. Ver el fur en verano, en el pasto tumbado. Siempre estoy a tu lado, en cualquier resultado. Vamos Galaxy, on top is where I gotta be. Chilling in the canopy, staging like a winery. Goals during rivalries, brew from the refinery. Only want the finer things, we letting you know. Lo que pasa en la galaxia, ready, let's start the show.
Hello, hola, and buenas, and welcome back to another episode of La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast always made with love for all you LA Galaxy fans out there. Wherever you may be, you are probably in need of some fellowship and some love. Today, I'm sorry to have to report that it's another session of group therapy, aka Sadful Hours, aka the Sean Davis curse, as the LA Galaxy remain winless after losing 1-0 to their northern rivals, the San Jose Earthquakes, in the latest Cali Clasico on Wednesday, May 28th, which prompted boos once again from the stands at the Digs and shouts of "We want better." Although the Galaxy should have won this game, they somehow dropped this match on what else lacks defending. MLS and Apple TV play-by-play announcer Mark Rogondino will be here to help us break down this latest Galaxy defeat. We'll cover why the Galaxy isn't taking advantage of the good starts or offensive opportunities, misfiring DPs, what the Galaxy needs to quote-unquote do better, and if this season is already over for the defending MLS Cup champions. Plus, is a goalkeeper finally starting to show why the Galaxy spent a cool milli on him? All that and more coming up on tonight's episode of La Cuna Galaxiana. Let me introduce myself. I'm one of your co-hosts, Rob Halon. You can find my written work at Extra Time Talk and the Sporting Tribune. And, of course, you can find me online at El Escudero de LA. And my co-host right next to me, as always, is Papá de Nata y el Yerno Guapo, El Gitano Perdido. And slowly but surely starting to come around to my Scroogedom and Stoogedom for, por apoyar este equipo, So, Scroogedom, Ananda Kirana. Papa?
We just need we're the Stooges, we're the two Stooges, we just need a third. So, taking signups, for supporting this darn team this year. Pero, papá, en las buenas en las malas, en las buenas en las malas. Say that 5 times in Zen mode. Because that's what the team are making us do this year. As they say, desperate times call for desperate measures. And boy, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say to all the Lacuna Galaxians, all the Galaxy faithful out there. Like your sort of your ability to cope with this, right? Like this is unprecedented, as we said before. So
it's history making. We are living history. We are living, and the Galaxy is making history. Not the history they want to be making, but that's what's going on at the moment. You're right. It's unprecedented. Our special guest, Rogo's been covering a variety of different sports for years. So I'd love to be able to ask him if he's seen anything close to this, in all his time of covering sports. But, before we get to him, we just want to put out that humble plea once again. Go ahead and sub to this show. Ananda always tells me that fact that 1/3 of y'all that watch the show don't sub. Go ahead. Don't be afraid. Nothing's going to happen if you sub. All that's going to happen basically is you're going to find out about cool guests like Rogo, like, we've had the Stash on, Tommy Bogart, Sophie Nicolau. I mean, we have a couple of really fun guests coming up in the lead up to show 200. So yeah, guys, go ahead and hit that sub button. We do appreciate it. We're so very close to 600. Help us get there. And now you guys can also go ahead and support the show by sending us some super chats. Go ahead and get something off your chest. Ask questions that you have in that beautiful little brain of yours, and go ahead and send in that super chat. We'll go ahead and read it off here in this stream. Yeah, and now, Ananda, I don't know if the people knew this, but they can watch us live on Twitter and Instagram. So if you're not really a YouTuber, if you don't really like the YouTube thing, but you're all about that Instagram, you can go ahead and hit up that Instagram live, baby. Go ahead and hit up that Twitter, man. You can watch us on a bunch of different stuff now, even though, this face really wasn't made for TV, but, let's go ahead and pretend that you want to see these two stooges, and go ahead and check us out now on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. And of course, go ahead and check out those breakaway pods. You guys already know I did that interview with Michaela Giannone, a really insightful, and episode 5 of Los Galacticos dropped a couple months ago. But now the boys are hard at work on episode 6. So go ahead and watch out for that. And como siempre, Nanda, diles.
Yeah, let me do the thing, and then we'll get into our one words because we haven't really talked about it. But mine's pretty easy, and there's a reason why I haven't said anything, and it'll make sense once we close the loop on that. But anyways, man, you did all the heavy lifting. Of course, likes also help the show, guys. So go ahead and smash those likes up. Just either do it now or do it on your way out, or if you're listening on playback, of course, there's people to us in the future, Rob, that are listening to the show. Go ahead and leave those likes, guys. And of course, comment any thoughts, anything you want to get off your chest. Like Rob said, we will respond to every one of your comments. I know we had a few Vanny Out comments recently, which again, all opinions are appreciated on the show. We respect all opinions, even though some of us may not agree with all of them, but that's okay. That's what we're here for the discourse. And of course, Papa, como siempre, antes de olvidarme, buenos días, tardes o noches. Y bienvenidos a otro capítulo de La Cuna Galaxiana. So let's get into these darn one-word reactions. And mine's pretty simple, man. ¿Qué pasó? You want to go first or what?
No, I just don't want to. Like, yeah.
I mean, it's hard to. I mean, I don't want to really jump on this stream because it's hard to talk about this team. But we gotta hang tight. We gotta, what is it called? Be the support system for our people out there, man. They gotta. They gotta have sad foo hours. Gotta have sad foo hours. It's the ritual now.
No, because it's just funny because I'm just doing my best James Brown impersonation. There's a famous interview where James Brown's being interviewed, and he's just like, man, he's just acting out of pocket. Like the lady's asking him questions, he's just like singing over her and stuff like that. And at one point he's like, I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about some music. So that's my one word reaction. I don't want to talk about this. I'm gonna talk about some music. But no, since we got to talk about it, what's the another adjective for unsurprising, expected? I mean, look, I had several conversations before the match, detailing to folk, okay, if the Galaxy do this, they have a shot at winning and they'll be successful and they'll most likely win. If they don't, this is what'll happen. They did not, and exactly what I said would happen happened. It was an instance of me feeling like a brujo again. I mean, it's kind of becoming expected now, and that's the scary part. Is like I'm starting to not even expect them to win. It's just like, okay, let's go. I mean, certainly they have the talent. Certainly they have the players to do it. The system is. I mean, it's just like something's not clicking right now. Something's not happening, and we've talked about it ad nauseum. And so at the risk of beating a dead horse, it's just really just like, yeah. It is what it is. And hey, I was not surprised.
Let me wrap that up with a pretty little bow, because my one word match reaction is Papa simply speechless. I don't know what else to say about this team. It's like like you said, we've beat a dead horse. I think we've lost in every which way possible and imaginable that I can think of. Did we get a? Yes, we did get a red card. Zonka. We didn't lose that game, but again, I feel like we have dropped points. Let's say we have prevented us from winning in just about every way imaginable. So at this point, nothing really surprises me, and I'm just left speechless. Like I don't know. Of course, like let's say that. Let me put it like this. Like I don't know what else to say about this team that hasn't been said before. And all I could rely now is just within the 90 minutes, what am I seeing? What is the data telling me? Data never lies, right, Papa? But it's funny because when I look at data, we'll talk about this later, like data can tell you a narrative, a certain narrative on paper, but then the outcome or the result doesn't match the data that you're seeing on paper. So it's these are tough to analyze, man. But of course, it all goes back to, I mean, we're going to beat a dead horse again, but just mentality, the mentals, it's everything between the ears. It's just the bad mojo. And like you said, it's the Sean Davis curse. I like that one. So this team's cursed.
Yeah, man. I saw that on the interwebs earlier yesterday, and I was like, hey, it could be, man. I mean, I don't know. I don't really. I mean, again, Greg doesn't know. Players don't know. We don't know. It's San Salados. Necesitan una limpia. Es lo que necesitan.
Full.
What up, Chol Primo? Comments 96. What's up about Rauji? Looking mighty fly on the telecast yesterday. You know, I saw him down there in Las Buenas y Las Malas, repping real hard in the stands. You know, shout out to him. I mean, that's what it's about, guys. I mean, like, regardless, you know, en Las Buenas y Las Malas, estar ahí por tu equipo. And, you know, that's kind of like a shining example of what it means to be a Galaxy fan. But let's go ahead and get some announcements out of the way, a couple of news bits, and then we will get to our special guest of the day. Guys, it is Star Wars night at the Digs on Saturday. If you haven't gotten any tickets yet, go ahead and pick up that JP ticket pack, which will land you that JP bobblehead. He's looking mighty fly there with the purple lightsaber and the Ryzen kit. I do gotta say, hopefully I can get my hands on one of those. And of course, make sure to try to get your hands on a limited edition Cosmo print by LA Galaxy fan and so-called artist / photographer Isaiah Takahashi. Ananda, I'm not cool and you know, hip, so I don't know how to say his handle, but like, is it just like you just say the letters BLK SRS, or like what like how would you say that?
I'm trying to look. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I need to go to his page probably and see how he pronounced it. But yeah, at BLK SRS _. Go ahead and check that out. It's a pretty cool poster.
Yeah, no, and he's done the Star Wars you know, promotion, I guess you would call it, for the Galaxy for the past couple years. I know last year he actually did kind of like a what do you call those, like in school that they make you do, like the
like the little, like the models,
yeah, like the what are they called, dioramas? Is that what they're called?
Yeah, something like that, man. I can't believe remember that word. Something like that.
Yeah, you know, you had to do the mission one, man, like where you had to build.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically, yes, I agree with you. Maybe but we digress. Yeah, no, but he's done it the past couple years, and they're all really, really fly. This year he does this poster. The Galaxy have a cool video up on basically what his creation process was like. And you know what, like it's really interesting to see how this stuff comes together. You know, there's not just an element of you know, just going on Canva and throwing some stuff together. You know, there's actual, you know, design work and you know, legwork that has to go into this. So yeah, and this is pretty fire. What is this, the ode to like the Mandalorian and Pedro Pascal, or what?
Pablo Pascal? It looks like Pedro. It looks like it, yeah, with Grogu in the back there. Yeah, I mean, hey, those trophies, man, that's all we got to hang on to right now at the moment. Can't banter anything else. I mean, honestly, we shouldn't even be bantering, period.
No, I mean, how are you?
There's no grounds.
Con qué cara? Like how could you like stand up to somebody and be like, yo, this, when no, the team just isn't playing, man. I mean, just But you know what? Like I said, it's just gotta keep believing, Galaxy fans. Gotta keep believing because inevitably it's got to happen, right? Anyway, Ananda, a bit of news here. Club Deportivo Toluca and Club America are set to square off in the 10th edition of the Campeón de Campeones, which is the basically like the decider of who's like the grand champion of Liga MX. So Deportivo Toluca just won the Clausura 2025, while Club America was 3-time repeat champions, and their last title was in Apertura. So they're set to face off on Sunday, July 20th at 5:30 p.m. Then the Galaxy will face off against the winner for the Campeones Cup on Sunday, July 20th.
Oh, we still have a chance for a trophy this year? No way.
Yeah, incredibly. Actually, they still have a chance for 2 trophies because you know, the League's Cup is still technically, you know, in play.
Yeah.
So and you know what? Still mathematically not eliminated from the playoffs. So technically still a chance at 3 trophies. But we're going to be talking to. Yeah, don't give me that.
It's the hope that kills you, as always. But anyways.
Okay, look. Like we said at the top of the show, we're a couple of stooges, but this next cat that we bring on, I mean, Su Eminencia, I mean, he's part of that class basically of pioneers that were calling soccer in the dark old days when you had to like wake up at like 3 a.m. to catch a repeat match from like 2 days before that. I mean, like, you know, Joe's in that class. You know, Max Britos is in that class. You know, C. Miles is in that class. So, you know, we're really lucky to have him on. And now we want to welcome to the show an Emmy Award winner, prominent voice in soccer and sports for the past 20 years, calling games all over the place, Fox, ESPN, MLS, for the U.S. national teams. And he was the Galaxy's play-by-play voice during the team's championship seasons in 2011 and 2012. Now, Angel City is lucky enough to have him do lead play-by-play, and he's also play-by-play announcer for MLS Season Pass. He was actually, Ananda, I don't know if you knew this, but he was actually on the call for last night's Cali Clasico. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Mark Rogondino.
Hola, Hola, mi equipo. ¿Cómo están?
Muy bien. Bienvenido.
Bueno.
Bienvenido.
Así. With this team, that's how it is right now, Mark. We're suffering here in Galaxy Land.
Yeah, I can't say that I blame you guys. Listen, I decided tonight that coming on with you guys, I wanted to bring a little mojo because I always say this, no matter, listen, my first entree into MLS was being part of the Galaxy broadcast team and being part of Fox Soccer Channel. So tonight I decided I was going to bring a little mojo to the table for you guys because I always like it when the Galaxy are relevant and when the Galaxy are challenging for not just supremacy, but they're challenging for the Western Conference. And listen, I don't think it's out of the question that they could get on a run this season and maybe slip into an 8 or 9 spot. So I went into my drawer and I brought this for you guys tonight. I don't know if Max Bretos, or I don't think Max Bretos might have one of these, but I have 2 of them from my time with the Galaxy from 2011 and 2012. And this is the 2012. Wow. This is the 2012 one right here. And I hope that this brings some mojo to the table for the fans, for the team. Listen, I've been able to cover both of these teams, the Galaxy and LAFC, and I've been covering MLS for 20 years. And like I said, when the Galaxy are a team that is challenging for wins and challenging for titles, it's better for the league. And it's like the Yankees in baseball. It's like the Lakers in NBA. It's like the Kings in NHL. You want the good teams in the big cities to be challenging. And it even hurts me to see the Galaxy in the spot that they're in right now.
Your lips to the Lord's ears, Mark.
Yeah. Yep. We do have a super chat, a super important question from our brother.
Hard-hitting questions first.
He says, question from Mark, Coke or Pepsi? Rock on, guys.
How about Pacifico?
That works.
That works. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is group therapy.
But I am a Diet Coke Zero guy.
There it is, GCam.
Yeah,
There's your answer.
I gotta make the switch, man. I'm trying to cut that soda out of my life, but it's hard.
Me too.
So
Me too. I don't blame you. But if you're out on the golf course and you put a little bit of Bacardi in there, and it's a little bit of swing lube to kind of get you in that right mind frame, then I am actually not a huge beer drinker. But if I do drink beer, I always drink Mexican beer. It's either Modelo Especial or Pacifico. And so I am having a Pacifico right now while I'm on with you guys.
Yeah, maybe Ant, he's speaking all of our languages right now. So rock on, Rogo.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Rogo, we do something on the show. I mean, at the top of every show, you were in the stadium yesterday. It's called One Word Match Reaction. What's your one word match reaction from the game yesterday?
My one word would be competitive. Competitive. I thought that LA was competitive, and then to a certain point, we got about hour mark, close to that, and then all of a sudden, when Marco Royce went off, the game started to change, and so that would be. I thought they were competitive. To me, they didn't look like a team that hadn't won a game this season.
Yeah. I mean, Greg talks about it all the time in his pressers. They, with the exception of New York anyway, they've been in every match. Just the margins and a mistake combined to deny them points. You've covered a lot of sports in your career that you can remember. Have you ever seen a team as cursed, as unlucky, as down in the dumps as the Galaxy?
God, that's a really tough question. I mean, yes, I've seen teams that have been that low, right? I've seen teams that have been that low, but I've just never seen teams that have been this futile right now, right? Like bad breaks, not finding ways to win games. I mean, you think about the Galaxy before they opened the then Home Depot Center. They had a run very close to what they're in right now. Not as long, but very close to is what they're in right now. And but then, of course, then they opened the stadium and they kind of got on a roll. And I think they eventually made the playoffs. That was right before my time becoming part of the broadcast team. But the good news is you haven't even hit the halfway point of the season, right? So this was match 16. Saturday will be match 17. That's the midway point of the season. And as we know in MLS, I mean, look at a team like I'm headed to Houston to do Houston Sporting Kansas City tomorrow. So look at a team like Houston. 6 weeks ago, Houston were a team that were not even relevant in the Western Conference. And then they turn around and they go, I think, unbeaten. I just have been digging in. If they go unbeaten in like 6 of their last 7, and they're picking up 3 or 4 wins along that time with 1 loss in there, and now all of a sudden they're in the top 9. So the ability to move up in this league, if you put together 3 or 4 matches of unbeaten run and say you get 2 or 3 wins in that run and a couple of draws, you're going to move up quick, especially if you're playing Western Conference teams that happen to be above with you. We call those 6-pointers, right? Because all of a sudden you're keeping 3 from that team and you're grabbing 3. So all of a sudden you're like bang, 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 bang. And all of a sudden you go from, yes, I know they're 15th, 16th, 15th in the West right now. But all of a sudden, if 3 weeks from now, all of a sudden we turn around and we said, oh, they're 12th. Oh, they're 11th. It can happen quick. It can. And I want Galaxy fans to believe that.
I mean, all they really can do right now is manifest, right? Because it's just like, I think you used a word that I hadn't used to describe them in a while, which is futile, right? I mean, they just, whatever they try is not happening. What do you think is wrong with the team? I mean, we've thrown out all kinds of theories and suppositions on the show, but what do you think it is?
I think it's missing a true number 9. obviously it's Ricky, right? And people ask me all the time, they say, how can this team from one player, Ricky, not being in there, and they have gone on this run like this? And I say, imagine the Showtime Lakers not having Magic Johnson. They would have still been a decent team, but they wouldn't have been an NBA Finals, NBA championship winning team. And that's how good Ricky is, number one. But then you add to the fact that they don't have a true number 9. Christian Ramirez is a great veteran, but he should be, as we've seen in most instances, your first guy off the bench in the 60th minute and come in and try and get an equalizer, try and get a game winner for you, like a Kai Kamara for LAFC last year. I think that they've got everything 2/3 of the way up the field, and then they're missing that one final piece that should have 9 goals right now to this point in the season.
I mean, Mark, is it fair to, like, who's the culprit here? I guess, is it, because we've had this debate on the show with, everyone in chat, all the fans, all of our listeners. Of course, the Vanny out Boo Birds are still out there, even with that 3-year contract extension. But who do you think is the main culprit here? Is it the players? Is it Greg? Is it Will Kuntz? Is it the MLS salary cap? Is it all of the above? What can we put this down to?
I think that you're missing the boat if you're trying to put blame on one person. And I say that because you just won your 6th title last season. You just won your 6th title last season. And you lost one of the top 5 players in the league in Ricky in the semifinal. And, and so he made Paintsel better. He made Gabriel Peck better. You also got rid of Delgado. You got rid of Brugman. Cerillo is great, but he's not to the pedigree or to the experience that Gaston Brugman is. When you add all these pieces together, loss of Ricky, loss of Dayon, loss of Delgado, you add all these things together, you're talking about 40% of your makeup in your regular 11. And to think that you're going to say, who's to blame? You can't put that on just one person. I mean, I have just had 2 very candid conversations with Greg Vanny. Not only did he deliver you a title last season, but he, believe me, is doing everything he can to try and get this team in the right position, to try and push these new faces all together and put them in a spot to try and win games. And he can't step out on the field and hit a left-footed diagonal ball 30 yards onto the back post for Diego Fagundes or Joseph Paintsel. Like, he's not to blame. Will Kuntz is not to blame. It is what it is. If I told you at the beginning of last year, after what you had in 2023, if I told you you're going to win 2024, the MLS Cup, but you're going to have to suffer in 2025, what would you say?
Sign me up.
Correct.
Every Galaxy fan
without thinking. Yeah.
Correct. And that's where you are right now. That's where you are right now. And if Galaxy fans are going to jump off the ship, then I don't think they're true fans. But it hurts. It hurts. Like I said, the MLS is better when the Galaxy are relevant and they're winning games and being a part of racing for a Western Conference title. But it is where you are right now. And guess what? You might get Ricky back. You might try and make a run this year, and you might not get to the playoffs, but you might turn around and be one of the best teams in the West in 2026. Will you take that?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think every Galaxy fan would take it.
That's
again.
The hope right now. Yep.
Yeah. Win 2024. Exactly. At the end of the day, it is about rings, right? So, I mean, it's the choice between being, I guess, what would you take on the left hand, being semi-decent for 3 years running and almost getting there, or, winning a title in 2024, being absolutely terrible 2025, winning a title in 2026. I know what Galaxy fans would take probably. It's really not palatable, but it is what it is. You mentioned that Greg's the coach that brought the 6th title. Despite that, there's, like we said, still Vanny Boo Birds out there. They one of the main criticisms is that he needs to have perfect, if not semi-perfect conditions to go ahead and lead his team to victory. But like you said, he can't execute because he's not out there on the field. But I think what rubs Galaxy fans a little bit raw at the moment is that he got this contract extension in the middle of this historic losing run. Were you surprised at all that it came down when it came down, or is it a non-factor? I mean, does he deserve it for winning that cup last year?
100%. To me, he deserves it. It's a no-win situation for the club. What would you have rather that they came out 7 matches into the season and unbeaten and said, hey, we came together and we decided we're going to sign Greg for another couple of years? Or would you have rather that they, and I'm saying, when I say you, I mean like collective Galaxy fans, would you have rather that they came out and after they waited and they drew with the Marco Royce late equalizer and drew 2-2 after the match against LAFC and said, we awarded, this is a no-win situation right here. There was never a good time. It was never a good time. I mean, and I think that's what maybe, and I think that's what maybe sometimes fans lose sight of. And my question to you would be, okay, if Galaxy fans said, you know what, then it's time that this is very different than when Galaxy fans stood up to Chris Klein and said, we're not putting up with this anymore. Right? I think you had a firm leg to stand on. The team was disappointing for more than just 15 games. And I love Chris, but it was time for you guys to stand up and say, hey, we expect more from our club. We've been dedicated to you. Show us that you're dedicated to us. At this point right here, Greg delivered a title. He has one arm tied behind his back, in my opinion. And it's a no-win situation. And my question would be, who do you think is going to step in and be a better coach, be a better manager for the Galaxy than Greg Vanney?
Yeah, I myself, we've discussed it here on this pod, have found no better options at the moment. I mean, I've heard names
give me 3 names. Give me 3 names right now that you think would come in and take this job right now and say, hey, I'm going to turn this club around.
I mean, I've heard names that I don't like, all really, with the exception of Jim Curtin. But from there, I've heard, Jurgen Klinsmann, which I didn't like. I've heard names like Peter Vermees, which I didn't like.
Actually, the guy that I would have loved was coaching the other team last night, but that's again not available in the market. So there you go. That guy is pretty darn good.
Yeah, I mean, and it. Listen, I've had candid conversations with both those guys, and they are very different beasts. Bruce, to me, is a motivator. He is a people organizer. He's a personality organizer. Yeah. But if you guys had the chance to, and I know you've had Will on here, but Greg is so deep, as Heath Pierce, my partner, and I say, Greg is so deep in the minutia. He is so deep in the details of every single player, every single tactical decision, every single game. He is there. I don't think right now you might find another coach to step in and take the job, but I don't think you would be better off.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough thing right now, is that Galaxy fans they're angry, they're upset, and they have a right to be, right. So they're searching for someone to kind of lay that blame on, for as much as you counsel, hey, it's not Greg, it's not Will, or it may be, according to some folks, it's really not one thing that you can assign the blame to just one person. But like I said, Galaxy fans are just going through it. They're upset. So, I mean, what would you say to them at the moment? I mean, like, how can they go from, booing at full time and we want better to going out there again against RSL and putting their all into it again. Like what would you say to them?
All right. First, I'm going to say to you guys, if I lose you right here, forgive me, but I'm getting a little low on battery here because I'm not a super organized guy after I've been with my kids all day. I would say this. I really thought the Galaxy were going to win last night. I really did. Calling the game, I said it to my partner. I'm like, I think this is a storybook setup. Bruce Arena coming back. Original California Clasico team. 86th all-time meeting between these two teams in the regular season. They've met in the playoffs. I thought that, and the first 15 minutes, you would be hard-pressed to disagree with me.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Paintsill doesn't finish a couple of those chances where he gets in behind. Exactly. He's in a dangerous spot. He probably should lay one or two of those off to Marco Royce, who's standing there all by himself, like, just give me the ball, I'll finish it. And he doesn't. In the one, he comes in and he puts it on his right foot. He tries to bend it to the far side. And, Earl Edwards makes that's a bonus save. That's a big-time save.
Yeah.
Out with his left hand, he parries it out. He parries it out for a corner. They were all over him. If one of those goes in, there is no doubt in my mind they win that game. There's no doubt in my mind that game. But if you're asking me, like, what are the positives of this team right now? Number one would be Paintsill healthy and being just a pest to who he's going to cause RSL problems on Saturday. Two would be, I think that Mitrovic is your guy. I think Mitrovic is your number one. And then the other thing would be in the middle, you got Serio, Sanabria. Like, you have two really good holding sixes. And this is the thing that Greg said to us in our conversation this week. These young players have to figure out how they turn performances into results. And you're literally teetering on that right now. You're literally.
Nope. I think we officially lost them.
I think that's where we lost him.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get him back in a little bit because really good conversation with Rogo. Yeah. Rafael, Victoria Block, I thought was chanting, "We want better," but some of my colleagues in the press room were saying that, and even asked Greg about how he felt with the fans saying, "We are with you." But like I said, I could have sworn they were saying,
"We want better." Yeah, I could have sworn too. So could be wrong.
Yeah, no, it's tough. Rogo was talking about JP, Joseph Paintsill. I love that man. Everybody knows I love that music. Everybody knows. We sing his song all the time. I want to see that man succeed. But he, let's face it, just had a couple of opportunities, like Rogo said, in the first couple of minutes that go begging. Marco Royce on one of them. Nascimento just in a criminal fashion on another, where you have to look at him and say, come on, give the lad his first goal. He's literally open in the middle of the box, and he doesn't get the ball. On one that he does try to cross in, he has the beating of his man, but somehow he doesn't get the cross off, and his defender blocks it. It's just, it's laughable at this point, because when it happens, you're not even angry anymore. You're just like, well, that was, I saw that coming, right? Peck isn't without fault either. The 2024 MLS Newcomer of the Year had several good looks, got into great positions. On one of them, shot straight at Edwards. He had a great game. Edwards made a couple of good stops. Not to say that Mikovic did not. Mikovic had himself a couple of really good stops as well. But there was also a little bit of that selfishness from Peck, because there was this one play in the second half that I think it was probably the most animated I had ever been in the press box, Ananda, because I was just like slowly but surely getting more and more frustrated. And then I saw this play in which Gabriel Peck gets the ball as the Galaxy are in transition going down the field. He has Diego Fagundes running off to the left of him, and yet he decides to take the shot from about 30, being that he has runners on the left.
Yeah,
with Diego Fagundes, who had his man already beaten, I mean, was in the space already, was just waiting for that pass, and he had a runner to the right. I don't remember who it was, but he decides to take the shot from about 30. And
Yep.
it's just, and I know Mark is back. I know Rogo's back. So, I just went on Rogo. I just went on basically
on a rant.
a mini rant about the Galaxy DP wingers. 1 goal, 1 assist between them both this year. Is it fair to say that these wingers are letting Greg down this year?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
All
Okay,
good.
Listen, my apologies. I knew it was
All
coming.
good.
I could
No
see
problem.
the battery little window going down right there. But it was, the conversation was too good for me to leave you guys. So, no, I don't think that they're letting Greg down. This is how good Ricky Pooch is. This is how good he is. He's a top 5 player in our league. I mean, if you're talking about Messi, Luciano Acosta, Evander, Ricky's right there, and you don't have him. So, to me, he made those guys so good. That was why it was the killer peas. Is how good he is, how good he was last season. He can bypass lines. He can escape pressure. He can beat 2 guys. He can beat 3 guys with the ball at his feet. So to me, no, they're not letting Greg down. It's just that your team right now has one arm tied behind their back, not having one of the best players in MLS available. And it's just again, it is what it is. You won the title last year, and it hurts right now. It hurts me. The Galaxy are one of the great teams in our league, and the fact that they're struggling right now. Listen, if anyone watched that game last night, and I said it during the broadcast on Apple TV, I said it to Heath many times. If anyone watched that game last night and thought that you were watching a team in the white jerseys that hadn't won a game through 15 matches, you're crazy. You are crazy. They did not look like a team. I do a game every single week, and sometimes 2 in a week. I could name, and I won't, but I could name 4 or 5 teams off the top of my head right now that are not as good and not as talented as the team was last night in white.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what makes the record so disappointing as well.
Correct.
This team
correct.
is not as bad as a wooden spoon, destination team. On paper, this is a much better team. This is at worst, bottom half playoff team.
Yeah, I think that's why it's hard to reconcile what's happening right now. And I know all Galaxy fans are going through the 5 stages of grief right now. Because they're like, what is going? Like, you just can't rationalize it with anything like tangible, right? I mean, the Earthquakes were largely pegged back for large portions of this match. I mean, the Galaxy limited San Jose to only 1 big chance over 90 minutes. But I think one key thing happened in this match, and it speaks to the mentality aspect of what Anand and I have been talking about this team for a couple of different podcasts now. And you mentioned it, Rogo, is that Marco Royce gets injured. Greg Vanney is forced into a couple substitutions, and the entire vibe of the team changes. And I don't think it's the system. I think it's kind of more like that mentality that I said. I literally saw heads drop after he came off. And so, is that what you're seeing as well? Do you think it's a mentality thing? I mean, Greg's answered in the negative, but I mean, you've been around the sport a long time. When it gets to this point, can it be anything else?
I mean, that's a really poignant and good question. Because at that point, right, when Marco gets injured, the margins of what he decides to do as a substitution, right, are very, very slim, right? He has, say, 3 or 4 cards in his deck that he can play at that moment. And probably only one of those 3 or 4 is going to be the right card. And he chose to bring in Diego, and I don't think that was the wrong move, but then all of a sudden you kind of shuffle and you put Diego in he went in and he actually had a deeper line role. He was not in the same number 10 spot that Marco was in. He wasn't.
Right.
He was deeper lying role. Anytime he was getting the ball, he was deeper and trying to play through one and then to another player. And I had the thought at that moment, and I'm not trying to second guess Greg because he knows way more about his team than any of us do. But I had the thought at that moment that maybe, as he did in the match before, he might push Joseph all the way up as their true number 9, the guy to try and get in behind and play almost as the furthest guy up the field.
Yeah.
And you maybe bring Diego in and move him to the outside as more of a winger role, Peck on one side, Diego on one side. He didn't do that. And it didn't work out. Or maybe you bring Christian in a little sooner than he did. And there's just we can always sit here, and hindsight can be 20/20, and we can sit here and second guess the moves that he made, but he's trying to pull every single string possible to make sure that his team could try and get a result. And had they gotten a point out of the match, think how different our conversation would be right now. Had they gotten a point out of the match after Buda scores the goal in the 74th minute, if they come back and they get an equalizer and it ends 1-1, our conversation would be so much different than the one that we're having right now. And listen, I know it's frustrating for Galaxy fans. I know it's super frustrating.
Hey, Matt.
And they have every reason to be. But if you didn't just win a title 6 months ago, I think the conversation is very different.
We got a super chat. Ananda, El Hermano XPH, has the Galaxy won a game yet? Says last year the team won games without Ricky and they won the final without Ricky. Is that because Gaston Brugman and Mark Tagallo were experts / knowledgeable of Vanny's system? Rogo, what do you think?
Wow. I mean, those certainly are excellent points. Gaston Brugman, first of all, I would say you never get to that point where Brugman gets to step in and replace Ricky in the final if you don't have Ricky. Yes, they did win games without Ricky last season. Yes, they did. But when you go on to win a championship, you need certain things to bounce your way sometimes, like where you're getting chances and that shot bangs off the crossbar, like Maya Yoshida last night, right? In last year, Maya Yoshida heads that in and it beats Earl Edwards and you tie the game 1-1.
Yeah.
That is exactly what happens last night. If we're talking a year ago from now, but we're not. And so Earl Edwards got a big right paw on it. He smashed it away, right. And you end up losing the game 1-0. But you need certain bounces of the ball to go your way. You need a little bit of luck. And it's not all. I mean, I'm not saying it was lucky that the Galaxy won last year. By no means. When we got to the end of the season, October and November, they were thriving and they were the best team that nobody wanted to step out on the field against. And Ricky took you all the way to that point in the semifinal against Seattle. And he, I mean, the fact that he played the last 20 minutes of that match,
Monster.
You know, with a torn knee ligament is unbelievable. Unbelievable. You never get to that point if you don't have Ricky for probably, what did he do? I don't know. I'm going to go off the top of my head. He probably played almost 30 games last year, right? And but to have a guy like Brugman step in that situation, and again, I go back to a little bit of luck, how well he performed in the final. He was the guy that played the final pass a couple of times, leading to the goals for Dayon, right? You need those I've been in this league long enough, and you need those moments and those bounces of the ball to go your way to win a championship. And they had all that going their way last year. So to answer the question that you posed to me from one of your guys here on the pod, Brugman was that good. I love Gaston Brugman, and the fact that he's in the lineup in and out for Nashville, but that he's not one of their main. I did Nashville against Toronto a week ago, and but yeah, Brugman and Marky Delgado. Marky, I still call him Marky. I'm probably not supposed to, but I still call him Marky Delgado. I still call him Marky Delgado because I've been covering him since he played for Chivas USA, and he was my partner, Heath Pierce's teammate there. I mean, he's so solid, right? He's not a guy that shows up in the stat sheet for 2 assists, 1 goal, this and that, but passes completed and relaying the ball from this side to that side and breaking up plays in the middle part of the field. And all of a sudden he breaks up a play and he's 1-2 passes away from getting it into the 18. That's what Delgado does. And Cerillo and Sanabria, they're a little deeper lying. Where last season you had Ricky carte blanche, and then you had, Delgado sometimes just sitting back and playing a 6 role and breaking up plays. But when Ricky might get pulled out of a space and all of a sudden he's wide and you need someone to step in and take that ball and put it onto the feet of Paintsill or put it onto the feet of Gabriel Peck, and all of a sudden they link up with Dejan Jovic, he was right there. Because all the eyes were on Ricky, and he's over wide. Ricky's over there by the sideline. Everyone's looking over there. But guess what? Mark Delgado is not as good as Ricky, but he's pretty good. And he'll get the ball and just bang, bang. And all of a sudden you're in the 18, and Jovic is scoring.
He's definitely a big miss.
I was going to say, Rob and Rogo, just to add to that, you just touched on Dejan Jovic, and to answer this point, just a little stat for you guys. In those 4 games that Ricky was out, Dejan Jovic, 3 goals, 1 assist. He was huge.
Wow. Yeah.
He was huge.
No,
which goes back to the point about a number 9.
A number 9. Yeah, you said it at the top. The Galaxy are missing a number 9. I mean, they're creating those chances. We've seen them create the chances. They're just not finishing, right? As opposed to, a team like San Jose last night, which only made 1 big chance, and the birthday boy ex-Galaxy, Preston Judd, serves up Useni Buddha, basically against the run of play, out of nothing. And it, I felt like a wizard or a brujo, you call them in Spanish, Rogo, because I let someone know, I have a feeling like if the Galaxy doesn't score early, that they'll somehow cough up the goal in the 85th minute. And then, they give up the goal, they concede the goal. And I looked at my colleague and he goes, "You were wrong. It was in the 75th minute." But I was like, hey, I was pretty close. I'm there. I know Galaxy fans are starting to lose that hope, that spark. Are these losses, do you think, starting to become inevitable? I mean, once, one thing goes wrong, like Royce's injury, or against Orlando City, it was the penalty. There's been other instances where, there's been one mistake and they kind of fold. Was the writing on the wall for this one as soon as Royce went down injured, do you think?
I do not think it was. Let me ask you guys this. I want to flip the tables on you guys right here.
Ooh, sure.
You're asking me questions. Other than the New York Red Bull game, can you tell me another game this season? So that would be 15 other matches. Can you tell me a game this season where the Galaxy were not in it?
Nandita?
The only one that comes to mind, Mark, is 3-0 at home against St. Louis, but that was after a mistake, right? Mitrovic makes that mistake in the first half.
Yeah.
And it all kind of, we didn't capitulate necessarily to the level of New York, but that was the closest thing to it. That's the only one I can recall. But every other game, we were in it.
I think that's fair. And I think that's fair. So we're talking out of 16 matches. And I know that Galaxy fans are frustrated even hearing any of these type of storylines, right? But if you think about it, 14 out of 16 matches, you're right there. I mean, I'm on the road a couple of weeks ago with Heath Pierce, and we're calling the game, and we're watching. I think I was in San Diego. We're watching the score against Philadelphia that weekend. I'm doing San Diego Sporting Kansas City, and I'm like, Galaxy's gonna get their first win. They're gonna get their first win of the season, and we get back into our, because we have multiple monitors. I got my iPad up. I got my game boards up. He's got his laptop up. And
basically heaven.
Yes, and so, but I'm in another stadium calling a game. But we're still, if we're still monitoring. I mean, he might grab his laptop and go and turn it to me like this, and it's like, Galaxy are up. They're gonna, late in the second half, they're gonna win this game. And, we're doing sign language with each other. I'm looking at him and I'm like, and then we don't pay attention to it. And we get to halftime And he turns it to me and he goes, they lost 3-2. When we're in a break, right? We're halftime. There's a 2.5 minute break, whatever. And he turns to me and he goes, they lost 3-2. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? And it's just, that has been the way it has gone this season. And but to the point, I'm just saying, they have the game against San Diego less than a week ago down there at Snapdragon. Like, I'm thinking it's going to be 1-1, and Chucky scores in second half stoppage time. It's just, you're suffering right now. And actually, I would use a line that I get the luxury of talking to a lot of coaches, including your guys' coach, Greg Vanny. And I told you guys already, speaking earlier, I said, Greg told me that my young players need to find a way to turn their performances into results. And it's actually ironic that Pablo Mastroeni is bringing his RSL team, who has also had their struggles this season, to Southern California for their matchup this Saturday. Pablo, one of the things that sticks with me that he says is, my young players need to struggle. They need to go through these moments, like the moments the Galaxy are going through right now, in order to be able to come out the other side and be better. And as much as it hurts right now, as much as it is hurting Galaxy fans right now, maybe this is part of the struggle. And maybe that's why I thought they were going to win last night. But maybe this is part of the struggle and the storyline of how House of Dragons, Game of Thrones, how you come out of the fire on the other side and make your way to the number 9 spot in the playoffs and are playing your best soccer in October, and nobody wants to play you. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's too fairy tale for you guys to be like, yeah, seriously, Rogo, you're really saying that? But it's possible. It's possible.
I think 2026, what we shown from 2023 to 24, in the midst of the boycott and everything was going off the pitch, I think that's probably that's what Galaxy fans are probably clinging to, and that's sort of the hope that in 2026 we can be a MLS Cup contender. It happens that quickly, and of course we've shown the pedigree that Will Kuntz can perform for this team. I mean, he performed. Rob said all last year, man did some miracles on me, and he absolutely did in the 2024 team. And he has that pedigree, right? So what's not to say that they can't be a contender? But for this year, I think a lot of Galaxy fans, I don't think that ray of hope is there, just quite there.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. And it's as hard as it is for you guys. Think about it. It's even harder for Will. I'm a big Will Kuntz fan. Will knows that. I love Will. It's hard. Think about how hard it is for you guys and the rest of your fan base and the people that are tuning in to watch you guys discuss the team and the passion that you guys have for this team. How hard it is for them. You don't think it's harder for Greg and Will? I guarantee you it's way harder. Harder.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you certainly see how much it's affecting them all. I mean, I was in San Diego in the Battles of Snapdragon, and I saw normally kind of calmer Mickey Yamane, in terms of results anyway, on the field, be very, very frustrated and kind of just let out this primal yell. And it's tough because again, you can't really put a finger on it. I mean, we have people in this very chat right now that are saying that it's Greg. I mean, the people, my own wife, Rego, says that it's Will Kuntz because he should have been aware of the salary cap the constraints and should have worked ahead to look ahead in the future and say like, okay, well, we might lose this player. There's a lot of blame going around, but you mentioned these youngsters, right, who are, for me, the ray of hope right now for the Galaxy, and it could be what propels them to that promised land in 2026. We saw a couple of those youngsters come out yesterday in the starting lineup, namely this man here, Mateus Nascimento. What do you think of his performance? And based on what you saw, does he warrant another look against RSL?
I think it was a scratch on the surface for him. and I think you have to roll him out again one more time because I think he's 21 years old. I think if Greg doesn't roll him out, then it's kind of would ding a young player's confidence, in my opinion. And the problem is that he has the ability to be hold-up play. He has the ability to be a target number 9, right? Play with his back to goal, play the ball into him, Peck, Paintsill, run off of him, and he can kind of half turn and play the ball into spaces for them. We didn't see enough of that, in my opinion, and I definitely think he warrants another look. Because there was nothing that he did that said like, no, he's not ready for this. There was nothing he did that was like that. He was trying to be brave. He tracked back defensively and did defensive work a couple of times, which is something that many number 9s do not do. And so I think, yes, you roll him out in the starting lineup again. I think I said it to you guys earlier, like, listen, I love Christian Ramirez, right? But if you're going to rely on Christian Ramirez to be your starting central guy furthest up in the formation this season, I don't think you're going to be set up for success. He's a guy who comes in and is fresh legs and gives you 30 minutes. He's been that way his whole career. Can he start and be effective? Absolutely. And he's proven that time and time again. But are you going to start him 25 plus games in that role? Probably not. And that's the reason he's bounced around a bunch of different teams. But he's a guy who you bring in the 65th minute and he goes in there and gets after it, attacks the ball in the air, gets it, pivots, maybe takes the defender on one-on-one. So to answer your question, I think Nascimento deserves another start, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the 11 on this weekend.
Yeah, and remember, I was gonna say, Rob, remember, guys, the parallel here is, Dejan Jovic, right? The way we got him on the roster was that valuable U22 slot. Remember, Nascimento is on loan, but he is taking up a U22 slot. So in a way, we are sort of reinvesting or recycling that cycle all over again. And based off of the talent ceiling that goes with a U22 spot, right? And all of the things that go with it, I think it does make sense to invest in this guy, give him more playing time. Like you said, Rogo, he's scratching the surface. I think he needs to really prove himself to see if he can be that U22 type of talent that we had in Dejan Jovic, because we need to refresh that position. And remember, we had those 3, great years with Dejan under the U22 cycle. Now I've got to find the next one. Now I've got to find that next gem, and hopefully Nascimento is it.
Can I add one more thing to you?
Yeah,
you said
absolutely.
Your wife. You said your wife is frustrated with Will and that he hadn't seen the runway out in front to prepare for this moment without Ricky, with Gaston Brugman going to Nashville and Delgado going to LAFC. I would just say to those types of thinking, the MLS salary cap and how you move money and how you use TAM and GAM and draft picks is the most complicated spider web you have ever seen in your life. And it's just not as simple as thinking like, oh, I'm just going to just be prepared. I'm going to have $2 million set aside to buy this player. The Galaxy actually made moves. Like, they actually made moves in the last 6 months that I wouldn't be surprised if you have a good signing coming this summer. I really would not be surprised. And, a signing where you're like, holy smokes, how did we get that guy? And I say that because they made moves to free up more money in GAM, more money in TAM, and gave away a couple of other draft picks. And, who's the classic case in point, you guys, is like a guy like Maya Yoshida. You never knew before he came that they were going to make a move to bring in a center back who was going to wear the captain's armband. You had Martin Caceres, you had Jalen Neal, you had Chris Mavinga, you had all these guys in 2023. You're thinking like, oh, we've got stacked up center backs. Guys get injured. Somebody can't play 90 minutes. They can't go for 3 or 4 weeks. Mavinga never worked out. And all of a sudden, the Galaxy had to, and let's not forget the free agent implications, the transfer market implications that went on, right? So you had to find a guy like Maya Yoshida who wasn't even, he was a free agent. He wasn't even attached to a team to bring him in. And he's become your captain. So my point is it's a very complicated web to think about how you massage the salary cap and how you organize the money to be able to sign this guy, to be able to have draft picks that make an impact on your team immediately, and to be able to organize and build that roster to be ready on a game day.
Rugo, I know that, and I believe me, I'm smart, so I'm not going to push back on wifey because
I'm not smart. I'm not smart. I'm not smart at all.
She's Ecuadorian, bro. There's no way I'm pushing back. See, she. I mean, no, I'm just not pushing back on her. But no, I mean, no, it is a compliment.
Who's her Ecuadorian team? Who's her Ecuadorian team?
She is from Quito, so she likes Deportivo Quito.
Liga Deportivo de Quito. Okay, I like them too.
Oh no. That's where it's a different club. So there's Liga de Quito, that's Liga Universitaria de Quito, and then there's Deportivo Quito, which is another team. That's her team. But unfortunately, after that's one of those, kind of parallels right here, except that the Galaxy haven't fallen this far from grace. Deportivo Quito won a couple titles in Ecuador in recent memory, but then through misadministration and stuff like that, they basically fell down to the 4th division of Ecuadorian soccer, and now slowly but surely they're making their way back up. They're doing the Sunderland right now, basically, and it's nice to see that old respected club in Ecuador make its way back.
Wait, are you guys saying that there was misappropriation of funds in a South American team?
Surprisingly, right?
No way.
Yeah, no, these clubs are just the most ethical things that you can ever find. But yeah, surprisingly, it happened. I mean, hopefully it won't happen again for another 50 years. But
right.
Ananda, you had a note on Cuevas, right? Or something you wanted to ask about Cuevas?
Yeah, just really quick. My producer's just telling me, Mark, just making sure that a time check for you, man. Just how many minutes you got with us, because I know you've got a flight to catch tomorrow, etc. So just making sure you're all good.
Hey, I'm good. Like I said, I'm good. I'm enjoying the conversation.
Awesome,
with you guys.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I mean, if you guys have some people in the chat that want to ask anything, I'm open to it.
Hit them up, chat.
Hit them up, chat.
Listen, I have 2 championship rings with this club. I was fortunate enough to do the TV for 7 years, through the David years and the Landon and Robbie Keane years. This club has been nothing but great to me, and I would not be having the opportunities that I have today if it wasn't for the Galaxy.
Dale, Nanda.
Yeah. Here to that.
Somos un equipo.
There we go.
Yeah. En las buenas, en las malas, chat. Remember that phrase. No, just really quick. I thought, talking about some of the youngsters sort of investing and looking ahead to the future. I don't know, guys. It was a little surprising to me that Zanca and Cuevas started on that right side of the defense, but I was watching Cuevas very closely, Rob. I was on that side in the first half, and I even called for it last game. I said, you know what? Yamane's had a couple of shaky games. I mean, not your typical Miki Yamane performances. I think it's not all him. I think there's a lot of sort of maybe partnerships or just that chemistry that he had with Gabriel Peck last year just isn't quite there yet. Of course, the loss of Ricky has a big part to do that. But I thought, it was interesting. In the first 5 minutes, he lost a 1v1 battle in the corner. It led to a chance for San Jose. Didn't come anything of it. I believe Mitrovic made the save on that. But I thought he grew into the game, man. I thought he was a lone bright spot, I think, for the Galaxy in terms of being a young guy, getting thrown in there. It wasn't an easy matchup, but as the game progressed, I thought he got stronger. He started making really good decisions out of the back, especially passing out of the back to Peck on the right-hand side. Just unfortunately, Peck could not break himself free or get in those goal-scoring positions. But the best part of Mo Cuevas, Papa, second half, that curling whipped early ball to Diego. We have not seen that from really anyone this season. And I don't think a lot of teams expect that. And that's one of his strengths, man, is bombing up that right-hand side. But that early delivery, right? If one of his teammates can just read it and anticipate it, and that's sort of one of the things we're missing a little bit, is a little bit of that anticipation, a little bit of that surprise. That he's got an amazing delivery. I'm curious to see him a little bit more, but it's interesting though, because when Yamane stepped in, as I'm saying that, Yamane steps in and man, he's quality. You just see a different level of composure. You see a different level of decision making. And so I guess moving forward, what I took out of that is I think on the right hand side, I think they've got to share the minutes. I don't think Yamane can play 90 minutes all the time. I think he needs a reprieve, especially in sort of these three games in 1 week sets. But I liked what I see out of Mokuevas, man. I think he's one of those guys that's on his last year of his deal. And so I think we talked about this last episode, which is Greg needs to give these guys ample playing time to play for their contracts next year. A lot of these guys are playing for their next contract, whether it's here for the Galaxy or elsewhere. So I think that's really important, man.
Yeah, we have a couple of. Oh, go ahead.
I don't disagree at all with you guys. And the thing I was told is that Mickey has played a lot of minutes to this point, and so Greg wanted to give Cuevas an opportunity to step in that spot, and I think he certainly earned himself a future nod. I think LA native, he was good. He was good. And the thing that probably hurts the most to Galaxy fans, if you're splitting hairs here, is Yamane comes in and it's Yamane who gets beat to that spot by Usaini Buda to finish the goal. Not to say that Cuevas wouldn't have gotten beaten, but Buda wanted it more. He got in between two. I think it was Zonka and Mickey that he got in between both those guys and stuck his leg out. And one of the things that he brings to the table, Usaini Buda, is pace, is straightforward running, and he got to that spot before them. Decent ball from Preston Judd for sure, but for me, that's certainly one that the Galaxy defensively, they're going to go back and look at that tape and be like, how did you not see him running off your back shoulder, and how did you not box him out and just like kick it out for a corner? Yeah. I mean,
no,
and
definitely.
Those are the margins. Those are the moments that Greg speaks about as to how slim they are. That's the one moment. That's the one moment right there where all of a sudden they were uncomfortable in the second half and it goes in the back of the net. If it doesn't go in the back of the net, who's to say that 5-10 minutes later the Galaxy don't score on the other end? It's just those are the margins, and that's how slim it is in this league right now. And but to your original point, I thought Cuevas was very good. I thought he was very good. And to that point, I thought Zonka was good. I thought Zonka was good too. He didn't look uncomfortable. He deserved to get back in there and get some minutes and get a start. And I thought he was good too. Julian Alde came in and he was fine too.
Yeah, he looked really nice when he came on. We do have a couple super chats. People out there giving you some love. Rogo says, Samo Bob, mi presi, ¿cómo estás? Shout out Rogo says, I remember listening to you in the Fox Sports World days. Salud. Good on you. El Primo, Comments 96 says, another good show, Primos. Shout out to Rogo, an OG.
Los dos Presi, shout out.
We couldn't agree more. I mean, guys, we're just lucky to have someone like Rogo. I mean, just the two knuckleheads talking about a soccer team. But really, the only way you'll know we have guests like that, like him on, and Will Kuntz and Sophie and the Stash, is if you sub to this pod. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. No cuesta nada, es gratis. Dale like, dale la subscribe, and we'll all be happy. Ananda, I'm sure since you're the stats guy, you have some stats that will kind of help us infer a little bit more where this breakdown was. I mean, we've been talking about a lot of reasons why the Galaxy have been unsuccessful. Some of them are tangible, some of them are not. But one thing you can't discuss or can't mess with is raw data. What are you seeing there?
Well, that's the thing, guys, and maybe this is something that you guys talked about, Rogo, too, in the broadcast. And if you look at the stats, right, this is the final box score. It was a very even game. Like on paper, if I didn't watch this game, if I wasn't in the stadium or on the broadcast or whatnot, if you look at this game on paper, you would have said probably a draw would be a fair result, right? For the outcome. I mean, I go down to the expected goals, 1.6 versus 1.5. Okay, maybe a 1-1, a 2-2. They're overperforming their XG, but everything else very similar. And that's the thing that's frustrating, right? Is the fact that this was more than a winnable game. I mean, this is one of those. Honestly, the last 3 games were probably winnable games, or at least a draw would be the sort of minimum outcome that you want, right? But here's the thing, Robin, and this is where we just talked about the margins just a second ago. The big stat for me is the following, which is each team had 3 big chances. The Galaxy missed all 3, and San Jose converted their 1 big chance, and that's the Buddha chance in the second half. This year alone, guys, the LA Galaxy have 30 big chances. That's 24th in the league, and missed 22. So you're at a 27% goal conversion rate based off of your big chances. San Jose, on the other hand, they not only have double our big chances this year, 60 in the league, which leads MLS, but they converted a higher rate at 37%. So, which is why they're number 1 tied in the league in goals per match. So this is the thing, right? This is San Jose were what the Galaxy were in 2024, creating a lot of big chances. And you know what? Well, we might miss a couple of them. JP missed a lot last year, even Gabriel Peck in the beginning of the season. But the fact that they're generating at such a high clip, it doesn't matter. And then you put on top of that the conversion rate. And this is why the Galaxy just we can't get the results at the right time, right? It's the lack of big chances, but it's also the lack of converting them. And the Galaxy, of course, has been shut out now 7 times this season, and 0 of those, unfortunately, were draws. So this is the thing, man. And that's really what's killing us. But like I said, it was a winnable game, but those missed chances in the end were costly. And of course, the 1 defensive lapse, unfortunately.
Well, Ruggles spoken about how he's spoken to Greg. He sat down with them twice recently. We spoke to him last night, and regarding these chances that aren't being finished, he just said it. I mean, he said it's execution. He says it comes down to execution, the amount of open 3 versus 2s, 4 versus 3s, the breaks that we have with the space, our best players on those actions. We squandered those chances over the course of the night. And he's not wrong. We've spoken about it basically all pod with Gabriel Peck and Joseph Paintsel, kind of being found wanting in that respect. But Ananda, you actually have a video of these chances that these wingers have been kind of caught messing up, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to one of the creators out there, of course, the Nano at Total LA Galaxy. I mean, he pulled this little montage, man, and it's just, there's no sound or anything. I'm just going to pull it up, and you guys can kind of see sort of I got to pull that down first to see the clips. Let's see. There we go. So there's JP right there. That's the one chance that you're talking about, Rob, against he just needs to lay that off. Like pick your head up, JP. Here's another one, the second half, bad pass there. And I think that's the one to Nasi that you're talking about. So, I mean, we got into so many good scoring positions, right? This one
right here. And that's the save I'm talking about right there.
That's the Edwards save right there.
That's the Edwards save. But you know what? Yeah, I don't know. Take an extra touch. I think he's got a lot more time than he probably has there. Again, wrong decision there. And this is Peck in the second half.
I think if you guys are going to pinpoint certain moments though like this. Gabriel Peck has the ability, right, to take a game on his shoulders. He did not do that. He did not do that. He did not do that last night.
He hasn't done it all season, to be fair.
He's a big time player, and that moment that you just showed right there, where he's chopping it inside onto his left foot, and he's got everything to look at, right? He can either bring it back onto his right foot, get to the in line. He can either curl one to the far post. He can lay a square ball off to somebody at their feet coming in, late arrival right here. But he did not put enough of his print on the match for me. And in these moments right there, in those moments right there, he's got to be the world-class player that he is. And he just didn't last night. Maybe he had an off night. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, the most frustrating part was Marco's just hands in the air like, Gabby, I just made a 50-yard sprint.
Yes.
And this sort of leads into maybe, again, This is something that probably Heath knows better than most because he's played, and this is something that can transmit into the locker room at some point. It's like, guys, we've got to start believing in each other, trusting each other. If I'm making a 50-yard sprint, reward me with that ball on the outside, and we can get a better chance on goal. So again, these are the fine margins that we've just been talking about.
What you're talking about right there is exactly the point Heath made in the broadcast. And the point is that when Peck, Paintsill, Royce, last year Joveljic, now Nascimento, when they make that 30-yard sprint, they knew that Ricky was going to find them. They knew. Not Nascimento, of course, this year, but last year, those players knew that if they did the work and they made the sprint, and this was Heath's point last night, Ricky would find a way to get them the ball. And that's just not the connection that's happening this year for the Galaxy, unfortunately. Marco Royce made a 30-yard run more than once.
Yeah.
And you saw him put up his hands like, dude, just lay the ball off to me. I might even give it back to you. But the ball never came his way in those moments. And instead, someone might be a little bit selfish, which, you want players to be selfish at times. But in those moments, you could see the frustration, and then for him to go out injured, midway through the second half, I think to your guys' point you made earlier, like you could see the body language of some of the players, like, oh, SHIT, here we go. Now we've lost another superstar right now in the worst time. And where do we go from here?
That's the question that we've been asking ourselves as well. Where does the Galaxy go from here? I mean, the fans were chanting, we want better, but how exactly does that happen? I mean, does Greg need to change up his coaching methods, training methods? Does he just need to let his players play more free and be a little bit more unattached to the system? I mean, what's your call on it, Rogo?
You just need a couple breaks to go your way. To be honest, you just need a couple of bounces the ball to go your way. You guys, and I'm sure you guys have probably touched on this either on tonight or previous nights. That Saturday is the first time that this team plays back to back at home,
right?
In MLS, in MLS play all season. You've had to go to the East Coast. You've had to go to Vancouver. You've had to. I mean, the schedule makers did not do the Galaxy, the defending champs, any favors at all to start the first 3 or 4 months of the season at all.
Surprise.
Yeah, right. And so the fact that you can sleep in your own bed for 4 or 5 nights in a row and not get ready to pack your bag. And listen, I know all about this, and I'm not complaining at all. This is the job I signed up for. I love it. I'm on a plane tomorrow at noon to Houston. But the fact that these guys can at least get into a little bit of a routine, take their kids to school and come back home and train and then go back home and eat dinner with their families and get into at least a semi-routine for 4 or 5 days as opposed to 2 days, get ready to pack, leave, fly, come back, off day, come back, regen day, come back, prepare, game plan, video, get ready for another game. Oh, we're going to do 1 home game, and then 2 days later, we're going to get on a plane again and fly to another city. It's hard. It's hard. People are like, oh, yeah, that sounds real hard. It is hard. It is hard. It takes a toll on your body through last weekend in February till now. We're in the last weekend in May. It takes a toll on your body. We're talking 3+ months. And, I mean, the telling sign will be, do they come out and perform against RSL this weekend? Do they come? Because this conversation that the 3 of us are having and the people are in the chat talking about will be completely different if they go and they win this game 3-1 on Saturday. It'll be completely different. You guys will feel, oh my God, exhale. Man. Oh my God, exhale. We got the first one. So we only have, they have 4 points this one. We have 7 points to the first 17 games of the season. But you never know.
That could be
that could be the jumping off point. It could be the jumping off point, and all of a sudden you start to go, let's say 5-6 match unbeaten run. Even if you have 2 or 3 draws in there, all of a sudden, I mean, to think that into last night, this team that won the championship had 4 of a possible 45 points to this point in the season last night is we're close to Hollywood, gents, but we can't even write that stuff. You can't even write that shit.
No, you cannot. It's like Ananda said, unprecedented. Rogo, we had discussions at the top of the show before you joined us. There was boos ringing out at the digs last night, and also chants. Ananda and I both thought it was "we want better." However, one of my colleagues in the post-match presser asked Greg and said, "How do you feel about the fans saying we support you or we're behind you?" First off, what did you hear? And then if did you hear anything?
Honestly, that is tough for me to hear because the headsets that we use from where we broadcast everything is kind of closed into my ear. The only thing that I could tell you with regards to that kind of question and those types of moments is how big is your head coach that he walks all the way down to the supporters fans, even after a result like that, in a massive match like that he walks all the way down there and is 10 feet from the supporters right there to probably exchange words with them and have a face-to-face moment with them. Because the easy thing would be to do to just the final whistle to shake hands with Bruce Arena and walk the other way. He didn't do that. Didn't do that. And again, that tells me who Greg Vanney is. I got nothing but respect for Greg and the work that he's doing and will too. I mean, if you, again, I said it earlier, and Galaxy fans are probably, whoever's tuning in right here is like, you just need to stop it, Mark. But the fact is if you don't think that these guys want to win these games and the players, the coach, if you don't, they're hurting way worse than any of us are. They are hurting way worse than any of us are. And they are staying up 18, 19, 20 hours a day to try and find the solution to not just get the first one, but to put together a run of results.
Yeah, I work with words and on this podcast and stuff like that. So like sometimes I sit there and try to think about it like, dang, what if I was just trying like heck to put that Canva deck together or that Excel spreadsheet together, and it is not happening for whatever, like, and I'm trying to save that, and that shit's just not saving, man. Like, that's basically what's happening to the Galaxy, because their work is on the field. But Greg did make it a point to thank the supporters post-match. I don't know what he heard personally, but he chose to believe it was "we're behind you," and so this is what he had to say about it all. I believe Ananda has that clip. Is that correct?
No, sorry, man.
I want to hear it because I didn't get to hear this. I want to hear it.
Actually, because the video that I have doesn't even have sound, so I gotta re-pull it back up. But anyway, sorry, man. Producer error on my bad.
That's okay. I kind of verbatim can remember. He says it's huge. He acknowledges that they have every right to be every right, to want to, have answers, and he appreciates the support because, like I mentioned, he I guess believes that they were saying we're behind you or we support you, and so he made it a point to thank the fans because he says that they have no reason to actually stand behind the team because the results haven't been there, but they're still doing it, and that's what makes the fan base special. I agree. That's really what makes the fan base special. Rogo, we're going to ask you one final question, and then have you pick our defending the badge winner. You've mentioned one game before the midpoint of the season. And I think I know your answer because I think you've trended that way in your answers. But is the season salvageable at this point? I've asked several Galaxy players and coaches, are the playoffs still a thing in your guys' mind? And they've all answered, we're just taking it one game by one game. We got to get that first win to even think about playoffs. But I know Galaxy fans are certainly thinking about that because they're thinking of the long term, and they want to see this team be held to the highest standards and certainly make the playoffs and go on to make that MLS Cup and win it. But it all starts with the playoffs. Is that even a thing right now for the Galaxy? Do you see that in their future, or is it kind of like a one game by one game thing, like the players are saying.
I'm a movie script fairy tale type of person, and I think that obviously, I mean, it has to start literally this weekend, right? Because this is match 17 this weekend. So you've got, if we put the point total together, you got 50 plus points still available over the course of the season. And the beauty of MLS with having the wild card and being one of those last two teams that gets in and then fights for the opportunity to become the 8th seed is you can be right there. And you're going to have a lot of opportunities to have those 6-pointers, those those Western Conference matchups where you're keeping a team above you from getting 3 points and you're grabbing 3 points. If you asked me, if we were in the same situation and you asked me 4 weeks from now and it would still look like what it looks like right now, I would say absolutely not. It's not happening. But if you ask me right now, if they win this game on Saturday, if they beat RSL this weekend, there's something in my brain, you guys, that says this team could get hot. They're too talented not to be. And every coach, I think this was my 3rd Galaxy game last night that I called this season. Every coach that you speak with is like, they are underachieving, but we don't know how it's happening this way because they have too much talent. They have too much talent. And so to answer your question, to be direct and go on the record right here, I'm going to say there is an opportunity for this team to get an 8 or 9 seed. There will be that. You guys will be biting your fingernails, and you guys will be the mantra, the conversation will circle around. Can you imagine if we just won a couple of games in those first 15, 16 games of the season? You're going to have that conversation in August, in September. You're going to have that conversation, and you're going to be like, we would be in. But if we can still win 3 of our next 4, if we can still go unbeaten, if we can get, this 3-game road trip in late August and early September, if we can get, 6 out of 9 possible points, we're right there. I guarantee you that's going to happen. I guarantee you. And you guys mark the tape right here. Mark the tape. Rogondino said it in late May. You're going to have those conversations because this team has had too many bad bounces, has had too much go against them and not their way to this point, and are too talented to not be a team that all of a sudden we get into mid-September and they're like, if they make the playoffs, nobody wants to play them.
Rogo, don't set me up for 2021 all over again. Don't set me up. Don't do it, you. Anyways.
Joe13 Cool says, damn it, Rogo, don't you make me believe in this team. Don't you do it. Rogo, really quick, before we ask you this final question, can you please let the chat know where they can find you? I mean, I'm sure you felt the love from them. I'm sure they want to keep up with you and your call and what games that you're calling and working. So please go ahead and let us know where they can find you on the socials and what you're calling next.
Let me say just a couple things, and I hope this will be the first of a couple of opportunities to sit in here with you guys because
absolutely, please come back.
I'm always happy to talk soccer. I did 7 years of the Galaxy broadcast local when they were on Fox Sports West and Prime Ticket, and then I moved with the team when they made their first move over to then Time Warner Cable, and Kobe Jones became my partner. And I did a couple of years there, and for whatever reason, I had another opportunity to go into other sports and things like that, and then eventually in 2018, listen, I tried to be a part of the Galaxy family, and for whatever reason, the timing wasn't right to come back and be a part of it, and so LAFC approached me, and that was where I went. I'm an MLS guy, but the Galaxy have a huge spot in my heart, and that's the reason I brought the ring in tonight to show you guys. Is I have
that
two
mojo.
of these. I have two of these from being a part of this club. I was with Bruce Arena in Candid Conversations. I was in Frisco, Texas with David Beckham. I was in conversations with Robbie Keane. Donovan Ricketts is one of my all-time favorite players, not to mention Galaxy players. I'm an ex-college goalkeeper myself. Todd Donovan, Juninho, I could go on and on and on about how much this club has meant to me and my career. And so I just want Galaxy fans to know, like, I'm in it with you. I'm in it with you. And this is tough, but come on, let's go. Stick with your team, stick with your colors.
Preach.
To follow me, I'm at The Real Rogo on Instagram. That's where I do most of my social stuff. You're going to catch anything from me and my partner Heath Pierce yucking it up on the road to me teeing it up, playing golf. I love to play golf. You might see a little bit of my kids in there because I'm super proud of them. My 14-year-old daughter, my 11-year-old son. And you'll see, I try and bring you behind the scenes moments of the beautiful game and what my life is like, being lucky enough to go and call MLS games every single weekend. So at The Real Rogo on Instagram, I am more than honored to be with you guys here tonight and hang out, and I will not be a stranger.
Oh no, please
Thank
don't.
you so much, man.
I love when Ananda knows this. I love when people segue me beautifully into the next thing, because you basically told chat why you're perfect for this next thing called defending the badge winner, because you've been there, you have rings, you've lived and breathed and suffered with these players on those flights, those late nights, so no one else is as perfectly placed at this moment to go ahead and call defending the badge. And defending the badge, Rogo, is the person that you felt in the match versus San Jose that basically defended the badge in the best way. And it doesn't have to be the best player. It's the one that played the hardest, or went into tackles and just sweated on that shirt and made sure to leave everything out on the field.
By the way,
Wow.
staff, and Cosmo are also included in that set, so it's all fair game, Rogo.
Gosh, I have two names that immediately come to mind for me. So I will present each of them, and then I will tell you who I think it is. The first would be Novak Mitrovic. I think he is your goalkeeper of the future. He just needs to get more confidence. And I'm a huge goalkeeper guy. I've seen so many goalkeepers in this league. And I like I said, I played college goalkeeper at San Diego State. I have a soft spot for all those guys. And when I go down the line of goalkeepers, especially for the Galaxy, there's so many of them that I love. But he's good. He is good. And he didn't necessarily get to show it last night, but shot stopping wise, good with both feet, pretty solid on crosses. He just needs a shot of confidence in between his ears. And I'm telling you, I love J Mac too, but Mitrovic he could be your guy for 4 years, 5 years if this team gets on a run. So that's number one. But he's my 1A, and my 1 is going to be Edwin Cerillo. And I say that because his stuff doesn't show up in the stat sheet, but
the small things.
Dude is a ball winner. He is a linker. He does not make mistakes on the ball. He does not give the ball away a ton. He covers a ton of ground box to box. And so, I love true number 6s that don't get that recognition. And he was not going to get any recognition because you lose the game 1-0 last night. But I think he's a baller. I think he's a great one. And that's probably the reason you could actually not have Gaston Brugman anymore, is because you have Edwin Cerillo. And he's young, he's fit, he's got some beast in him. He's got some don't mess with me. I'm gonna be nasty in here. That tackle where Ian Harkes came in and actually won the ball and then hit it off of the crossbar in the first half. Cedillo was right there on top of it too. He didn't win that tackle, but he was right there ready to just stick everything right in that moment with two players coming together like that. Like that is the moment where a lot of guys will just shy away and they'll be like, oh, you
Pull
win
out.
that ball. It's fine. I'll just back off. You win that ball. It's fine because you're not going to get past me. But
Yeah.
he did not shy away from that tackle. So if you're asking me defending the badge, Cedillo's my guy. I thought he played really good, and he's played a lot of minutes for this team this season. It doesn't show up in the
Definitely
stat sheet
has.
other than minutes played, but I think he's a keeper.
Rob, that was my pick. Actually, I'm so glad you brought that up, Rogo, because I had a really, really good seat sort of in between both benches in the second half. And on top of everything that you just said on the pitch, the one thing that stood out to me, man, he communicates and he has accountability. I saw him communicating with his backline. I saw him communicating with Miki Yamane and Mokuebas on the right where to be positionally. I saw him communicating with Greg giving him certain instructions. I saw him not backing out of challenges. I mean, the guy was everywhere. Like he was literally trying to hold that team together in the midfield. And I guess I hadn't paid attention as much to it as I did. And it just stuck out to me, man. So I'm really, really, I just want to provide that color because I had a great view of the second half. That guy's a leader, man. I think he's got a future leadership or captaincy role in him for sure, Rob. Like and you talk about defending the shirt. And I was like, you know what, win, lose, or draw, Edwin Cedillo's really, really impressed me tonight. He's a future leader of that midfield, man. Hands down.
If I can just say to you guys, I think him next to Sanabria, I think it's only going to get better. I think it's only going to get better. And I mean, dare to dream about it. But can you imagine if they had Ricky in front of them, right? And maybe sometimes instead of having Peck and Paintsill, all of a sudden you put Marco Royce in a less focal role. You put Marco Royce on like a winger role. I mean, it just goes to show you how important Ricky is. But I just think that Edwin and Sanabria together are a future for this club.
Speaking of the future, I guess I'll shoot you guys mine. Mine was Nasi. I really liked what I saw from him. Threw his body into some challenges. Should have maybe had a goal. I don't know if it was in real time. He looked off. Yeah, in real time he looked
tiny bit, literally a stride, right? Like, oof. And it's credit to San Jose. As soon as that ball was hit, they stepped. I think it was Daniel Mooney. He stepped a tiny bit, and Nascimento is already one step into that. It was the right call. It was the right call.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, like Greg says, those margins. Rogo, you've spoken about it. Just that luck. We've spoken about it. La suerte del campeón, which means the luck of the champion, which they had last year. It's just those bounces aren't going for them this year, and so we're left to search for answers. And like I've mentioned a couple times, those answers aren't really forthcoming because at this point it's kind of inexplicable. Let's hope that Galaxy fans can find that optimism that you've displayed to us tonight. And I think you have made a couple of Galaxy fans believe a little bit more tonight. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, but what is a good thing is you being here with us tonight. We definitely appreciate it. And you said it. Hopefully you're back. I agree. Our sentiments exactly. Hopefully you can come back. Open invitation whenever you'd like. I think he might have already left Ananda. Oh, there he is. He's back.
Yeah. So,
yeah, man. We Rogo, we definitely appreciate the time.
Muchas gracias. Yep.
Muchísimas gracias. Lo apreciamos mucho. Chat. Go ahead and show this man some love. Go ahead and drop him some comments on the socials and let him know how much we appreciate him. Rogo, thank you so much. Exactly. Bless up. Thank
G's
you.
Up.
Bless you.
Yep.
And yeah, G's up. Hopefully we run into each other again soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Muchas gracias.
Aficionados, no te preocupen. Somos un equipo. Las cosas están buenas. Ya vienen.
Ojalá. De su boca a los oídos de Diosito.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly, man. Rogo, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
See you soon.
All right.
Anytime,
Travel
guys.
safe.
I appreciate it, guys.
Travel
Thank you.
safe. See you in
Bye-bye.
Houston. Bye-bye. Oh man, see, I always say it. Do meet your heroes. Do meet those people that you grew up watching, because they will all surprise you. I mean, Rogo, class act.
Bro, could have been here all night, man. We're this is like a super long show, but chat, we do it for y'all. Again, we try our best. Again, this is supposed to be sad foo hours, right? But I thought that was a really, really good insightful conversation.
It wasn't so much sad foo hours.
It wasn't so much sad for. I mean, Rogo brought some energy, right? He's calling it like he is in sort of the seat that he has, which is one of the best views in the house, one of the best seats in the house as the play-by-play, and he's very much clearly has the LA Galaxy in his heart. So I think it was nice to see that side where we can relate to him, especially emotionally, about this team, because if you think about it, the Galaxy's been really good to him, Rob. I mean, he was there during the prime ticket days, like he said, etc., winning those championships. He
during a beautiful period, man.
He flashed that ring to us, right? So, and I think right now the nostalgia, all those good feelings. I forgot where I heard this, but it's like, I'm sure the Galaxy fans right now are watching reruns of 2011, 2012, and 2024, because that's what we have to hang our hat on right now, right? Our emotions on are those good times, they're good memories, and hopefully those ya vuelven, pero ojalá más pronto que no.
Yeah, it almost sucks that we have to, bring up a bunch of sad stuff again, because Perplex says fun show despite the sad subject. Joe 13 Cool says rare dose of hope in times like these. I am sorry, chat, because I'm gonna have to bring you back down, and it sucks because Rogo was that dose of optimism. I mean, to quote the great 2000s and aughts band, the Backstreet Boys, "You're my sunshine after the rain." Is that Backstreet Boys or is that NSYNC?
Oh, I don't even know. You're taking it.
Yeah, so somebody fact check me. I think it's Backstreet Boys.
Rob, since we're going pretty deep, I know it's pretty late for chat and everyone, so I know we've got to do a little bit of a preview. But how do you want to do this, Papa? I know it's pretty late for the Cuneros out there, but again, guys, really, really appreciate and thank you so much for sticking with us. Like I said, this is a good therapy session. I really enjoyed, actually. Now I'm being serious, not being facetious. Like, I really did enjoy this group therapy session.
Yeah, we needed this
one. 4 hours. I think we needed this one. But what do we got to say about RSL, man? What's maybe like the one or two things that we need to look out for? And of course, I mean, predictions we can't skip. We got to get to the predictions, right?
Yeah.
These are raw predictions, but what are you seeing out of this match?
Well, let me break down at least where RSL is in the table, because they're not as bad off as the Galaxy is. Everybody knows that the Galaxy are in last place. They're winless, 0-12-4, 4 points, 4 out of a possible 48. They've already tied the single season winless streak record at 16. RSL, you know what? They've kind of fallen off recently too. I mean, when the Galaxy saw them in the return in the first fixture, they were doing a lot better. Diego Luna was certainly balling it up. He's still balling it up a little bit, but his teammates are kind of falling off around him. They have some injuries. After 16 matches, they hold excuse me, after 16 matches, they hold a 4-9-3 record, 16 goals for, 23 goals against, a -7 goal differential, so that defense can get got at. So you asked me what are a couple of observations there. That defense can get got at. So if this wasteful Galaxy offense can somehow get it together, they will get chances. They just got to put them away. That's one of the reasons why this RSL team is on 15 points. Good enough only for 12th place, 0.94 points per game. No wins in their last 6 games. Have only scored 4 goals in their last 5 matches. So it's even a good matchup for the Galaxy defense as well. I mean, RSL's not really scoring a lot at the moment. They're conceding a lot at the moment, which is why they haven't won a match in 6 attempts. They did tie in their last one, 1-1 away to Austin, but before that it was a 3-2 loss at home to the Whitecaps. I mean, the Galaxy does hold an advantage in the all-time series, 25-21-15. But they did fall in the first meeting between the teams earlier in the season, 2-0. That was back in April. We canceled you guys to watch out for Diego Luna in that one. And, he did a number on him. I mean, I think in that one he scored one and made one. So that's basically the story of that first match. They lost 2-0 on the road, but now they're home, and in the last 8 matches at home, they are unbeaten against Real Salt Lake. So there's a lot of hope, and added to the fact that they have a lot of injuries at the moment. I mean, Diego Gonçalves, he's injured. Emeka Eneli, he's injured. Javane Brown, Kobe Henry, Zach McGath. I mean, Zach McGath is a big miss. I mean, he's a quality keeper. I mean, he's consistently high up in those. I forget the XG, whatever column.
The push out XG.
Let's just call it the good keeper stat. How about
the good
that?
Keeper stat. Yeah.
The good keeper stat right now. But in terms of what to watch for, and I mean, Galaxy just got to limit Diego Luna. I mean, he was the key to their undoing last time. They didn't key on him. They gave him a bunch of space in the midfield, and that's where it showed. Man, is that 2-0 loss.
Yeah, and as Edgar Nags, shout out Edgar Nags and the Nag boys, man, keep on nagging for sure. RSL have only won 1 match in their last 9 matches since beating the Galaxy in April. Again, we're everyone's feasting on us, man. Like, that's a pretty good stat right there as well. But yeah, it's definitely Diego Luna for sure. He's the danger man. And so, like, how you typically do, like, for the Galaxy to win, man. For me, it's super simple. Stop Diego Luna.
Agreed.
I mean, he's
when the midfield stop him.
Yeah, he's literally he's the guy that's going to be the difference maker, whether it's assisting or the goals. If they stop him, if they have a game plan around him, and again, if the Galaxy played the same exact game against San Jose and limit Diego Luna like they limited Cristian Espinoza, by the way, which is one thing we haven't really been. The conversation was a little bit away from the tactics and sort of the 1v1 matchups. I thought they did a pretty darn good job against Cristian Espinoza. And they convert at least one of those chances that we got, right? One of those 3 big chances that we had. Look, I think what Rogos was predicting could be on the cards, right? But again, we will get to those predictions in a second. But this is the key, man. Stopping this guy. I mean, this guy's been on fire. 8 goals, 2 assists this year, 10 goal contributions. He's their main man, no doubt.
I know you and Doc Rack worked on some betting odds. What do you got for us from Las Vegas?
Yeah, so betting odds are currently shifting because the top and the bottom there were a little bit different. But basically, Galaxy are at about a 44 or maybe 47% clip now based off of DraftKings. They're below. RSL, the away team, 34%. That's a pretty high win percentage, Rob.
Yep.
We saw 30% last time. And again, a draw at a plus 265, which again, we'll get to the predictions, but for those seeing maybe if they want a little bit of a payout, that's a pretty decent odds of that happening there, plus 265. So 265 to your 100, or however you want to see that, 2.65 multiplier there on your bets. But again, please bet responsibly. But yeah, those are the betting odds. That's what Vegas is saying. Again, pretty high odds for the road team. And man, having that conversation with Rogo, I think puts in perspective. I think Greg talked about this post-match, Rob, which is you have a 2-week break. I think that's a good break to sort of maybe spend a couple of days to detach emotionally and mentally. I mean,
they're going to get a couple of days off.
I heard on Corner of the Galaxy that Josh was saying that a few of these players, they can't sleep. Man, this is like literally eating away at them, especially mentally right up here. And sometimes you just need a little bit of that break, a little bit of a break from soccer, being with their families, etc. But if you can go into that 2-week break on a high, whether it's 3 points minimum, bare minimum 1 point, but with 3 points, now your outlook for the rest of the season, at least to start, looks a little bit different. And I showed the schedule a little bit earlier, Rob. We actually have a game. I'm going to pull up the schedule in a little bit because I did see a little bit of a break. And what I'm trying to say with that is I think these breaks are going to give us training time that we haven't had maybe in the beginning of the season that Greg's wanted. He's got a lot of things to work out on the training pitch. So I think we can use these to our advantage. But it has to start somewhere, and it has to start with a win this Saturday at home before the break.
Well, I know we always fight about the prediction thing and who goes first. I have no problem going first this time because you know what my answer is going to be. I've been a Scrooge for the past couple weeks, and I'm going to point to this. Our good friend Edgar Nags in chat says the ref ... Well, Galaxy has never lost at home with him, and RSL has never won on the road with him. We're going to lose. Yes. No lies detected. Facts. No cap. I mean, everything else that the kids say. It's been that kind of year. I mean, they're setting all kinds of these records that they don't want to set. This is going to be another one. And never, ourselves never won on the road with them. Galaxy has never lost at home with them. It's going to happen. It's a trap game. Yeah, Valio. Let's, I would love to write a different headline, but I don't see it happening.
You mean trap game for RSL, right?
No. Trap game
no. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I think at best it's a draw. 1-1.
Yeah, I'm taking the plus 265, man. I'm not obviously placing any bets or anything, but I'm taking those odds. I just think, look, I think Wednesday was really, really tough, and I think they will get a goal. They will get a goal in this game. Whether that goal will be good enough for 3 points, 1 point, or if we make mistakes, that's definitely a recipe for 0. I mean, it doesn't matter, right? If you don't keep the ball back of your net, I think we will score 1 at least. So then it's just up to the variables that will cause us to either pitch a shutout, which if I'm not mistaken, we still have no clean sheets this year, Rob, if I'm not mistaken. And also
none in 11.
Yep. And mistakes, right? If we just give up silly goals, or if we shoot ourselves in the foot, that'll be recipe for 0 points. So we will score 1. It just depends now on the Galaxy whether we want to make it 0, 1, or 3 points. But I will say this: I am really, really hoping for just sort of their mental state that they get out of here with 3 points, man. That's a huge lift, and especially going into a break. You do not want to go into a 2-week break with all that pressure on you, and it's going to sort of sour or put a damper on your sort of mini sabbatical, right? Whether you want to call it. And I think that sabbatical is going to be really important for the players, man. They need to refresh. They need a different perspective. I think just too much is weighing on them mentally at the moment.
I think maybe so do Galaxy fans. I mean, just the amount of emotional consternation that's happening right now. I think they need the break as well. I think everyone involved needs the break because I'm sick and tired of writing the same headline. Hopefully that changes here coming up this weekend. But we want to say thank you to chat. I mean, if you've made it this far, this was a long
thank you guys, man.
today. Thank you so much. And we know we have some real soldiers out there in chat, just hanging out with us. If you made it this far, I mean, go ahead and sub. If this is your first time, we want to say thank you. Go ahead and sub so you know when we have great guests like Rogo on. We also have a fantastic slate coming up for you as well. We are a couple of shows away from show 200, so we wanted to do something special. We have been working on a special guest for you that you guys are going to love. But before that, on Monday, June 2nd, we'll bring you our match reaction to the RSL home match with Tim Kolach from Soccer in 60. And then a week from today, on Thursday, June 5th, during that little break, we'll bring you a mid-season review show with our special guest, our friend, and he's been on the show already, Lex Avila, aka LA Galaxy 310, who he's just been on fire recently on those interwebs talking about the Galaxy. So we're gonna have him back, and he's gonna be talking Galaxy soccer with us. And then for show 200, I'm so glad I get to tease this. Finally, there's a man that you all know and love, and he'll be here for show 200. I mean, he's one of those people Rogo was talking about that's been around this organization forever. He'll be here for show 200. I can't tell you anything more. You know him. You love him. Choo choo. Let's go. Yeah, and that's pretty much all it is for us. Guys, I mean, we will have that reaction coming up. Rogo said, keep your heads up, Galaxy fans. Keep that optimism up. At the end of the day, nobody can cancel 2024 and that trophy. Ananda, anything else to add before we wrap it?
Only one thing left to say, Papa. Dale.
Only one thing left to say. Vamos campeones, LA strong, and Jesus! Gracias. Tú y yo.
No.